the doorbell rang. Tisha darted a baleful glance at him. "I suppose you told Kevin to come round this afternoon," she accused. "All I can say is I certainly hope he didn't waste his money buying me a ring, although it would give me great satisfaction to throw it in his face. You keep a civil tongue in your head, girl." A finger again waved angrily in the direction of her back as Tisha stomped around the room divider to the mock foyer of the front door. With an impatient hand, she swept her dark, auburn, nearly waist-length hair behind her back as she flung the door open, ready to lash out with her tongue at the man she expected to see on the stoop. The woman standing there arched an inquisitive glance when Tisha's mouth snapped shut in a grim line. A bemused smile tilted the corners of the woman's mouth. "I have the feeling I should come back another time." Brown eyes glittered with laughter. Tisha stepped away from the door, the movement allowing the woman to enter, which she did. Crinkling laugh lines were around her eyes and, combined with the faint wrinkles on her forehead and throat, indicated the woman's age to be more than first glance would suggest. The feathery cap of short dark hair possessed a startling streak of white that looked artificial unless the hair roots were examined. Tisha didn't wait for the woman to follow as she left the slender woman standing inside the door while she stalked back around the divider. "It's only Blanche," answering the unasked question in her father's arched brows, not sure whether she was sorry or glad that it wasn't Kevin as she sank into the cushions of the flowered sofa. The muscles in his jaw jumped convulsively, signaling that his anger, like Tisha's, seethed just below the surface. "You will address your aunt as your aunt, and not some acquaintance," her father growled. "You will show respect for your elders." "If she calls me Aunt Blanche, I'll clobber both of you." But laughter still lurked behind the sternly voiced reprimand as Blanche Caldwell walked around the divider. In her bright red slacks and equally bright red and white flowered blouse, she looked the complete opposite of what a spinster aunt was supposed to be like. Unmindful of her brother's quelling look, Blanche Caldwell covered the short distance that separated them and planted a quick kiss on his cheek. "And I'm delighted to see you too, Richard," she said dryly. "I'm glad you are here," he said emphatically, shifting his position slightly so his gaze could take in his sister and his daughter. "I'm trying to talk some sense into this girl's head, and she won't listen to me." "Sense?" A bitter sound that bore little resemblance to laughter came from Tisha. A hand waved airily in her father's direction. "He's trying to convince me that I should marry some man who gives me the creeps simply because he's decent." "I'm not trying to force you to marry Kevin Jameson," her father shouted. "What do you call it then?" she demanded. "Do you see what I mean?" Richard Caldwell turned to his sister, his hands raised in a frustrated, beseeching gesture for understanding. "She deliberately twists everything around, puts words in my mouth that aren't even there. I only said he was a nice boy and that she could do worse." "No matter who I picked to marry, Dad, you wouldn't be able to stand them. You'd find something wrong with them, even if it was only the color of their eyes." Now it was Tisha who turned to Blanche. "He doesn't believe a woman is capable of knowing what or who is good for her. It's his responsibility to interfere in my life. Considering the type of boys you go out with, it's no wonder that I feel the need to step in once in a while," he replied quickly. "Most of your dates only have one thing in mind, and if I didn't play the heavy-handed father waiting with the shotgun, they probably would have got it." "If you had your way, I wouldn't date anybody until you found the man you wanted me to marry," Tisha retorted. "You try to tell me what clothes to wear, how much makeup to put on, who my friend should be. Why won't you accept the fact that I'm an adult?" "That's because you don't act like one." "Only because you don't let me?" Leaning forward to enforce her words, "When we sit down to a meal, you still ask if I washed my hands. I'm not a child." Blanche Caldwell had been watching the